And I'm muting everybody. Right, so welcome to Sue. She's taking the recording. And let's come down to the mat and take a comfortable seat. We're going to start by sitting and holding a mudra. And in fact, I'll just come a little bit closer to the screen to show you which mudra we're doing. So this one is called Vyana mudra. So you bring the tip of your thumb and your first finger together, and then you bring your middle finger and take the nail bed of your middle finger and bring it down to touch the middle part of this thumb. So you're just sort of tucking that finger against the thumb. Can you see what I'm doing? So it's both sides. Bring the nail against the middle joint of the thumb, and then the other two fingers, they can just hang there and just be relaxed. So this is called Vyana mudra. So we're going to sit here and hold this mudra, sitting in an upright position. Relax your shoulders and just let the backs of your hands rest onto your knees or onto your lap. And just gently close your eyes. Let's just let everything settle. So taking a few breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. So I'll tell you what our theme is for today. We're working on prana. So prana relates to energy. And when we talk about prana, we very often relate it to breath. And there is a concept in yoga of the 5 winds, the 5 vayus, one of which is called Vyana. So the 5 types are prana, which is inwards and outwards breath, inwards and upwards rather, apana, downwards and outwards. Vyana is the whole body from the center. And then there's udana, which sort of concentrates itself around the head and the neck, and samana, which is throughout the body, but from the edge of the body inwards. So that's a concept of what's happening with our breath and what we can do, what we can focus on when we're breathing. So Vyana said it was the whole body. Think about that as diffused energy around your body. So that energy that's giving us movement, that's feeding our nerves and our heart and our circulation and our joints and our muscles is really important. It's an important element of our breath. You can think of it as our circulatory system. So as we go through our practice today, we're going to focus very much on our breath, which we should do anyways. It's our breath that keeps us moving. We tend to hold our breath when things get a little bit tough or, muscles are getting tight. But if we hold our breath, we just make things tougher and make the muscles tighter. So let's focus today on breathing. And I will get you to do some repetitive moves, and they'll feel strong, but we're going to flow through them, and we're going to take breathers in between. And as with every practice, you will only do what feels right for you. So before we get into the practice, I'm just going to explain what this mudra is doing for us. So it says that the fire element of your thumb, so as that fire element is joining the airiness of the index finger, so fire is thumb, air is index finger, It generates a burning desire for peace. So the two elements are working against one another. Just trying to find some balance between that airiness and that fire. And then by adding pressure from your middle finger, that's associated with the element ether or space, then your aspiration radiates into the environment. So you can think about that as your breath is flowing more freely. Or if you want to think about aspirations in life, then that's quite a nice concept to think, well, not only am I doing good in my own body, but things are sort of radiating out from you to your aspirations. It's quite a nice mudra, I think. So just a little description of it. It's called the expansive prana gesture. And in yoga philosophy, Vyana is the subtle energy that governs your circulatory system and enables your muscles to move. It has its seat in your heart chakra and causes energy to radiate outwards. On a physical level, stimulating Vyana can relieve cold hands and feet. It's all to do with your circulation. And emotionally, Vyana mudra arouses a desire for personal freedom and stimulates your heart to open. It cultivates the energy you need to live harmoniously with others, to be charitable and share what you have, and reduces mental tension by encouraging a calm environment. And during meditation, it aids concentration. So many good things about this Vyana mudra. So you can release the mudra now, keeping your eyes closed. Let's start to shift some of that energy. Let's get that Vyana, the vayu moving, that one of the breaths moving through our body. So keeping your eyes closed, just start to shrug your shoulders. So bringing them up towards the ears and then back and down and around. So your hands are just resting on your thighs or in your lap. And you're just taking those shoulders through that circular movement and making the circles a bit bigger as you do it each time. And then change the direction. So bring the shoulders up and forward and back, and then up, forward, down and back. That's the movement. Just getting some movement into the shoulders, and then allow the shoulders to rest down, find that upright spine, and just start to roll through the neck, just gentle movements, keeping the eyes closed. So just gently rolling around the spine. Might get some clicks and some clunks. Just be careful if you're taking your head back. Don't go back too far. We don't want to crunch those vertebrae in the back of the neck. And then change the direction. So just a circular movement, easing into the neck, starting to free up the body. And then come back to center. Just notice how your head and your neck and your shoulders are already feeling a little bit lighter and freer. Take a breath in and float the hands up alongside your ears. Your hands are facing each other. Your eyes are still closed. Breathe out and float the hands all the way back to the mat. So do that a few times, breathing them in and up, out and down to the side. In and up, and out and down. Resting your fingertips down on the mat. So once more, in and up, down to the mat. And then this time, as you breathe in, take them out at shoulder height. Reach those fingertips as wide as you can. And then as you breathe in, just rest the hands back down to the side. So breathing out, breathing in, reaching them out, breathing out, resting them down. So once more, breathe in, out wide, trying to touch the side walls, eyes are still closed, breathing out. Next movement, breathe in and float your hands up alongside your ears. And as you breathe out, take your right hand down to the right side of the mat and reach over with the left arm. So you're bending the right elbow. Nice side bend. Breathing in, returning to center. Breathing out, floating the hands down. Keep your eyes closed as you're doing this. Breathe in, right arm up alongside your ears, left hand to the mat. Reaching over to the left with the right arm alongside your ears. So flowing movements, breathing out and returning back to center. Let's do that again on both sides. Breathing the left arm up, over to the right. Breathing both hands up to center. Breathing out, release them. Breathe in, right arm up. They can both go up actually. Left arm can come down to the left, right arm over. So when you're doing this with your eyes closed, you're really focused on your breath and just focusing on the movement of the body once more on each side. Over to the right hand side, breathing the hands back up, breathing out. And then breathing both hands up, over to the left. Breathing out as you reach. Breathe back to center. Breathe out. Release. Just sit for a moment with your eyes closed. Just noticing how your body is already starting to feel a little bit more fluid, warmed up. And then gently blink your eyes open. Well done. So come to an all fours position. So from our all fours position, we're going to get some movement into the lower body now. So get your toes into the mat. So really work the toes in here. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, lift your knees and just sink back towards the heels. So the knees are lifted from the mat. You're reaching the hands forward. You're dropping your head through the arms. The knees are about 3 or 4 inches away from the mat. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, release the knees to the mat. Slide the hands forward, just reaching and melting the heart down towards the mat. So it's not quite child's and it's not quite Anahatarasana. It's just something in between. Breathe in, draw the hands back as if they were coming under the shoulders, keeping the toes into the mat and sink back into that position where we're lifting our knees. Breathe in, breathe out, release the knees, slide the hands forward. So just move through these movements with your breath, bringing the hands back, coming back to over those heels, lifting the knees, and then sliding the arms forward. Keep that going for a few more breaths. Checking in on you. That's it. So trying to reach the arms forward as you sit. Sink back, that's it. You're getting a nice stretch in the backs of the shoulders. So one more, lifting the knees, balancing on those toes, and then placing the knees down and reaching forward. Come back to an all fours position. So coming into this all fours, we're going to come up to our first down dog. So take a breath in And as you breathe out, lift your knees and your hips. Slowly does it. And then allow the heels to come towards the mat. Just bend one knee, then the other as you're walking your feet. And just easing into this down dog. Keeping that breath flowing. Thinking about that Vyana breath coming from the center all the way around our body, feeding all the muscles and the tissues. And then drop your head through your hands. Allow your heels to come towards the mat if they get anywhere near it. If they're not, don't worry about it. You can have a bend in your knees and just hold your down dog just for a few breaths. Feeling all that energy moving around the body. And if you take a moment like this to breathe, the pose becomes so much lighter and much more accessible. And then on your next inhalation, take the weight into your left foot and float your right leg up in the air. Three-legged dog. Breathe in. Breathing out, bending the right knee, drawing it forward towards your right elbow. Breathe out, send the leg back up in the air. So just moving slowly, breathing into each movement. Breathe in. Breathe out, bend the knee, draw it towards the left elbow. So you sort of move into a little bit of a plank and then send the leg back up in the air, three-legged dog. Breathe in, drawing the knee up towards your chest, come up onto your left toes and step your right foot forward. Coming into this lunge position. So hands are alongside your foot, your front foot. Take a breath in here. We're up on the back toes. As you breathe out, press the left hand into the mat, the right hand reaches up, twisting and opening. Breathe in, breathe out, take your hand to the mat. Once more, breathe in, breathe out, reach the hand up. So we're going to do something a little bit different. You're going to roll onto the little toe side of the right foot, so the knee goes out to the side, and then roll onto the little toe side of the back foot. And as you do this, you sort of sink down into the hip a little bit more. Breathe in, breathe out, and then take a breath in. Move the right arm up and over your right ear and turn your gaze towards your left hand as you sink the hip a little bit deeper and then sweep the hand back towards your right hip. So breathe in and reach the hand up, sinking down into the hips here. And just floating the hand back and forth. Just mindfully, slowly, once more. As you reach the hand up and over, take a gaze down to the mat and then open the arm back up. Well done. Take your hands back to the mat, realign your lunge. So you're going to walk your hands all the way around the mat to the left foot. I just have to skip around, otherwise I'll have my back to you. So I'm walking the hands to the left foot. So I'm coming into this wide leg lunge. So my hands are alongside my left foot and sinking down into this wide lunge position. Just take a breath here. And then breathing in, walk the hands all the way to the right foot. So if you want to add a little bit more, your left toes can go up to the ceiling. So finding that inner thigh stretch. Walk back to the left once more. And the right toes can go up to the ceiling. So trying to find a flat back here as we're resting our chest on the left thigh. Walk back to the right once more. And then walking all the way back to the left, taking your hands alongside the left foot and step the left leg back into plank. Just hold this plank position. You can plank on your knees if this doesn't feel good. And then breathe in, breathe out. Take your knees to the mat. Step your right foot forward. So we're just going to do some forward and backwards movements, getting into the hips. So slide that right foot so that it comes towards straight. And lift the toes up towards you. Remember to keep breathing. And you can send the sole of the foot down to the mat. So just lifting the toes, just a slight movement in the hips. Lifting the foot up towards the ceiling, up and down. And then drawing that right foot back so that the foot is under your right knee. And then just shift your weight forward. So you're starting to stretch into the left leg, into the left psoas muscle. And then you can lift back up and then shift the weight forward. Just gentle movements, but nice stretches. And keep that breath going. You keep breathing, these movements feel really quite straightforward. And the more you breathe, your out breath will allow the body to move a little bit further. So come back to this lunge position. Plant your hands into the mat, lift the back leg and step back into plank. So your gaze is to the mat. So you can plank on your knees. This is the option for this one. If you're feeling strong, engage your tummy muscles. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, take your right hand towards your chest. And then place it back down. Breathe in, breathe out. Left hand towards your chest. Place it back down. Breathe in. Breathe out, lift your hips up into downward facing dog and just walk your feet in a little closer. Just find your down dog. Use your down dog as a resting pose. Just a few breaths here before we do all of that on the other side. So I want you to really focus on your breath as we're doing this. We're not moving quickly through any of these moves, but some of them are quite strong, but it's all accessible when we breathe. So taking a deep breath in here, weight into the right foot, breathing in as you stretch that left leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Breathe in, draw the left knee towards your left elbow. Breathe out, extend it. Breathing in, drawing the knee to the right elbow. Breathe out, extend the leg. Breathing in, drawing it up towards your chest. And as you breathe out, step it forward and through. So your hands are on either side of your left foot. So from here, from this lunge position, your chest is resting on your left thigh. You're up on your back toes. Plant your right hand into the mat. Take a breath in and lift the left hand up to the ceiling. Follow the hand with your gaze. Breathe in. Breathe out. Release the hand back to the mat. Do that once more. Breathe in. Reaching the hand up to the ceiling. So this time, we're holding the hand up in the air. We're going to roll onto the little toe side of the left foot and roll onto the little toe side of the right foot. So you're opening the hips and drop the hips down just a little bit further. You're still keeping almost a straight line, but just dropping the hips down. And then as you breathe, bring the left arm up and overhead, turn and gaze to the mat, and then float the hand back towards your left back pocket. So breathing the hand up and over, turning and gazing to the mat. Breathing out, send the hand back. Once more, breathing in and breathing out. And then release your hands to the mat, realign your feet and walk your hands all the way around to your right foot. So we're going to do those side stretches once more. So trying to keep a flat back. Your hands and fingers are pointing forward, just hovering, not hovering, they're just in the position in front of your right foot. And then breathing in as you shift the weight and walk all the way back to the left foot. So your foot that you're walking towards is really planted onto the mat. And then the other foot, you can come up onto the heel and bring the toes up into the air. So walking side to side, toes up to the air. And then walk all the way back to your left. Yeah, go back to your left. Sorry, I was trying to work out which one we haven't stretched. So come back to the left so that your left foot is bent and in front and the right leg is behind. So drop the right knee and just encourage the left leg to come out in front of you towards straight. And just draw the toes up towards you and then place them back down. So you can feel this. It's a slight movement in the hip and you're getting into your hamstring as well. And as you send the foot down to the mat, you're getting a really good plantar flexion, they call it, of your foot, the top of the foot. And as you draw it back, that's called the dorsiflexion. So just moving through that ankle and hip. And then bring the left foot so that the knee is under your shoulder and just move forwards and back. So you're starting to get into the right psoas. Just gently moving into that lunge position. And then when you come forward, plant both hands, take a breath in, come up onto that right leg, so lift the right knee and step the left leg back into plank. So hold this plank position. So remember the options to come onto your knees. Otherwise, we're going to take a breath in, engage our tummy muscles, right hand to the right chest, send it back to the mat. Breathe in, left hand to the left side of the chest, send it back. It's tough, that one. Breathe in, breathe out, knees to the mat, take them wide, sink back, your first child's pose. Have your arms extended along the mat. And just breathe. Just feel all that energy moving around the body, but feel the freedom in the body from the moves that we've just done. They're not quick. We're not building tapas, fire in the body. We're just getting the energy to flow through all the channels, the nadis in the body. And then bring yourself back up to an all fours position. So from this all fours position, we're going to go through a little bit of that again. So all fours, toes into the mat, take a breath in, lift your knees and your hips, come to downward facing dog. Just have a walk through the heels once more. Notice how much easier it is to send your heels towards the mat. And drop your head through your arms. Have that feeling that you're sending your lower ribs towards your thighs. And if you need to bend your knees to do that, it's perfectly fine. Just hold this for one more breath. And then breathing into the left foot as you float the right leg up into the air. Breathing in, drawing the right knee up towards the chest and step it forward and through. So coming into this lunge position. Taking a breath here. So we're going to do that little walk to the side once more. Flipping around. So I'm going to walk my hands all the way to the left foot. So I'm coming back into this wide stretch, nice flat back. So let's see how we feel now. You can continue to walk with your hands on the mat, or you can bring your hands to the heart center and then breathe in and shift to the right knee. Breathe in, breathe out, shift to the left. Trying to keep it low, working into those hips and inner groins. Shift back to the right. Breathing in, breathing out, shift back to the left. Hands back to the mat, realign into that lunge with the left foot forward, right leg behind. Little bit of movement forward and back. Just easing out. Forwards and back. And then step your back leg in about another 12 inches. Drop your head over that left leg. Hands are on the mat. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, start to straighten the left leg and drop your nose towards your knee. Coming into pyramid pose. Just holding and breathing. Breathing in. Breathing out. Shift the weight forward. Step the left leg back. Realign into plank position. Take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, knees to the mat. Cross your feet at the ankles. Lower your chin and your chest to the mat, sliding through. Come to low cobra. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep breathing. And then lower the head towards the mat. Take your hands, we're coming into crocodile position. So stack the hands one on top of the other, rest the forehead down. Take the heels in towards each other. And just take a breather. Notice what's happening with your breath. So we shouldn't be out of breath here. We should notice that we've done some work and we're just stabilizing the breath. But if you're feeling out of breath, then maybe you're pushing yourself a little bit too much. So when I give you the options to drop your knees to the mat, then do that. And when we do the side to side with the hands at the heart center, keep the hands on the floor. Still getting that movement. And then breathing in as you slide your hands back alongside your chest, realign the legs. Breathing out, lift yourself up into all fours. So we're going to do that little bit on the other side. So take a breath in, breathing out, lift your knees and your hips, downward facing dog. Just releasing the heels towards the mat. Enjoy your down dog. Taking a breath here. Breathing into the right foot. As you breathe out, left leg goes up into the air. Three-legged dog. Breathe in, draw the left knee up to your chest. You're up on your right toes. Step it forward and through. So from this lunge position, trying to keep a flat back, so sending your gaze forward of the mat. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, walk your hands all the way to your right foot. So remembering the options here. The left toes can be pointing up, that makes it stronger, harder to balance. The right foot is planting into the mat. Take a breath in. And if you feel you can, bring your hands to the heart center. And then shift the weight to the left foot. Lift the toes. Foot down, shift the weight to the right leg. Lift the left toes. Once more to the left. Shift and lift the toes. And then take your hands back to the mat alongside your left foot. Realign, take a breath, and step back into plank. Just hold that plank for a moment. Remembering our option here, knees can go to the mat. Take a breath in, lift the right hand to the right side of the chest. Breathe and out, send it down. Lift the left hand, send it down. Release the knees to the mat. Oh, that was harder, wasn't it? What did I get you to do then? Oh, yes. So let's step our right foot forward. And let's just move forward and back. Just easing in to this right leg and right hip. And then lifting your left leg up and away from the mat. Bring it in a little closer. You're going to come to pyramid pose. So as you breathe out, just Allow your nose to come towards your knee, straightening that right leg. Just take a breath here. Let everything settle. And then shifting the weight forward as you bend the right knee, releasing the left leg back and step back into plank. Knees to the mat, cross your feet at the ankles, lower down to the mat, chin and chest, chaturanga. Sliding through, release the legs, bring yourself up into low cobra, Bhujangasana. Take a breath. And then release down into crocodile. One hand stacked on the other, forehead resting, drop your heels in towards each other. Just take a few breaths. Well done. And then slide your hands to alongside your chest, realign your legs and lift yourself up into all fours and sit the hips back. So we're going to release our legs in front of us into a cross-legged position. We're going to come up from the mat. So I know we were doing that little thing the other week of lower into the mat and bringing ourselves up. I'm just going to show you another easier way to come up and away from the mat, because it's really important that we can get ourselves up easily from the floor. So just sit in like this. I've got one leg in front of the other. So my right foot is in front. So my my left hand goes behind me as I press into the mat and I bring myself up in one go. That's it, one hand, oh, nearly. And then lower yourself back down, come back to that same seated position. Try it again. So we're sitting it's not quite cross-legged because our one foot is in front of the other. Left hand goes behind, just press into your feet and the hand, bring yourself up. That's better. And then keeping the legs in this cross position, lower yourself back down. Once more. It's really good for us, this is really important that we can do it. Left hand behind, just pressing into the mat. Bring yourself up. So keeping those feet crossed and then lowering down. So change the cross of the legs. Just take a moment, just let everything settle. So now the left foot is in front of the right. So our right hand is going to be the one to help us. Right hand behind, or just the tips of your fingers. Whatever, when we get really good at this, we won't need the hand. So take a breath in and bring yourself up. Oh, I stepped my foot away then. So stay in with the legs in that cross position. Yeah, use your hands out if that helps you. Breathe in, breathe out. Lower to the mat. Trying not to bash down onto the mat, just doing it slowly. So once more, hands behind, bring yourself up. Well done. Lower down. We're going to do it 3 times on each side. So take your hand to the mat. Remember to breathe. Breathe yourself back up. And then lower back down. Well done. So come back to the mat. Come to semi-supine. Just take a moment here. Bent knees, hands alongside the body. Palms can be facing up. And just let your knees rest in towards each other. Just allow everything to settle. Just thinking about all that energy moving through the body. And if you close your eyes, you can feel it. I'm hoping, with the exception of some of the side stretches and the hands to the heart center and the plank and lifting one hand, you're not feeling that I've got you to do anything too tough today. It's more about flowing through the moves and breathing in the moves. But you still feel as though the whole body has worked. And we've managed to do it because our bodies are brilliant and the breath helps us to do it. So draw your knees up and over your chest. We haven't quite finished. Have a little roll through the spine and the sacrum area. And then take your hands to the backs of the thighs and give your back a massage on the mat. Rolling back and forth until you come up to a seated, not seated, up to an upright position. And then cross your feet at the ankles, just leaning forward over the hands, release the toes and bring yourself up to standing. You've done much work away from the mat this morning. So this is a standing position, Tadasana. Just feeling the connection with the soles of the feet and the mat. Take a breath in, take the hands out wide and bend the elbows and place the hands behind the back of the head. So you're opening the elbows out wide, tummy muscles engaged. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, start to bend the knees and just roll the spine all the way down. Sinking, sinking, sinking down towards the mat. Drop the elbows. Come down as low as you can. Take a breath in. Start to open the elbows as you press into the mat, lifting yourself up. Slowly, 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 starting to straighten the legs, lifting the chest and opening the elbows, gaze into the ceiling. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's do that once more. Slowly releasing forward, bending the knees, dropping the elbows all the way down. Breathe in, lifting up and away from the mat. Just unrolling the body, straightening the legs, not locking the knees, lifting the chin up towards the sky, opening the elbows, and then release the hands. Well done. So just take a moment here. And then we're going to come down to the mat into a deep squat. So you might want to take your feet a little bit wider. Your hands together at the heart center. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, sinking down through the center into your squat. Oh, find that squat position. So if you wedge your arms in through your thighs, That'll help you to lift your chest, making a straighter spine. And then slowly release down to the mat. Brilliant. So back to our all fours position. Not all fours, semi-supine, that's what I meant. So back into semi-supine. And plant your feet about hip distance apart. Take your arms out to the side, palms facing down. And then cross your legs at the thighs and lift your hips and shift them over towards the right of the mat. And take a breath in. And as you breathe out, drop your knees to the left. So you're really rolling over the left hip and opening into the right hip. Turn your gaze towards the right hand. So this is a nice releasing stretch after all those hip movements we were doing, side to side. Keep your shoulders resting down into the mat. And just breathe here, breathe into that open side of the body. And then bring your head back to center, bring your knees back to center, lift your hips back into the center of the mat and uncross the legs. Come back to semi-supine. And then breathing in as you cross your legs at the thighs. So left leg comes over right. Lift your hips, place them towards the left of the mat. And as you breathe out, drop the knees towards the right. Turn your gaze to the left. Keep those shoulders melting down into the mat. And breathe into the left side of the body, the open side of the body. Feel that lovely stretch on the left hip. Working into the muscles, the TFL muscle that stretches over that hip. And into the piriformis as well. Two important muscles that, or sets of muscles that run down the side of the body. And then turn your head back to center, bring your knees back to center, realign your hips and release your crossed legs. So just draw the knees up and over the chest. Once more, just to release the lower back and have a little roll. And then when you're ready, set yourself up for Shavasana. Grab your layers and release your body down into the mat. Coming down to the mat, lying out, having your hands alongside your body in a gentle V. Have your legs slightly wider than hip distance apart, and drop your toes out to the side. And just use that breath to allow the body to release down into the mat. Just noticing how your body is feeling. Use the out breath to relax all of your muscles. Breathing into any areas of tension, any areas where you're holding on. Just allowing the body to release now. And as you're breathing in and out, just take a little pause at the end of the out breath. Just enough to notice the stillness in the body, stillness in the mind, and the release that you get from that out breath. Breathing in and out. Staying in your own space, just for a moment of silence. So bringing some awareness back to your body now. Starting to bring some movement into your hands and your feet. And just noticing how you're feeling. It's important to come down to the mat and take this few moments in Shavasana, even if it is only a few moments, just to finish the class, consolidate everything that you've done. And obviously, if we have more time, we stay here for much longer. But this just does the trick. It's 1 or 2 minutes. And then starting to bring some more movement into the body as you breathe in and float the hands up and overhead, pointing from your fingers to your toes, doing a full body stretch. And breathe out as you rest the hands behind you, bending the elbows. Breathing in, bending your knees, plant your feet on the floor. And breathe out and roll onto your right hand side. Just hug your knees a little closer to your chest. Give yourself a coach. And then when you're ready, bring yourself up to a seated position. So I hope you're all feeling good and energized, full of prana. So brilliant. Let's finish with our 3 breaths together. So sitting up straight and tall, fingertips to the mat. Taking a breath in as you reach up and overhead, take your gaze to your palms. Breathing out, bringing the hands to the heart center. Breathing in. And breathing out. Once more, breathing in. Breathing out. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.